Assalamu alaikum. My name is Pamela Tawney. I am the wholehearted living and connected parenting coach. I am the mother of two beautiful girls, and one has just turned 6 and the other one is nearly 4. Before the Inside Out paradigm, or before I was introduced to this understanding, I was dealing with a lot of aggression from within myself. And I hadn't recognized that, there was so many different facets to that aggression, and it was always somebody else's fault. I didn't hold back in letting it come out, basically. It would, even if I tried to hold back, it would sort of come out in spitting sarcasm or something. I was quite trapped, and it had a pretty big hold on me. It affected my relationships in that I was very difficult to be around. I mean, I could recognise it myself that I would have this energy and would affect other people, and that was feedback that I'd get from people too. A common statement that I would get from many people that obviously didn't know each other was that they could feel me before they could see me. So I had this big energy, and I thought I was containing it. Like I'd be, I'm not feeling that great. Yes, I've done the whole thing, stubbed my toe on the bed, and things just snowballing out of control. I'm like, this is going to be a bad day. But I'm like, okay, no, I can compose myself and I can just get through the day. No one will know. But they could feel it. It was, almost palpable, as some of them would say. So yeah, I just couldn't contain it, as it were. Yeah. It would affect me physically also, because I would have headaches. I'd have a lot of tension in my body, but I somehow would always felt that I had to push through. Just like I mentioned before, that I had to contain it in order to just get through the day. I'd never give myself permission to have a day off. And that, okay, maybe I need to have a mental health day today. Maybe I shouldn't go into work today because, going in this mood is not going to be helpful for me or anybody. I never gave myself permission to do that. So I was also described as by someone that I was a walking headache. I looked like I was a walking headache, if you could imagine that. And my perception of what they were saying is that, because I was tight, tense, there were some times where I would even have my sunglasses on inside the building just for the first half an hour, just so I could try and contain it, I suppose. Yeah. And then, yeah, I felt trapped. I felt trapped in my own emotions. Well, I couldn't even recognize that they were emotions at that point. Yeah, because I thought it was just physical. To have those feelings and to also try and parent my children and help them through their feelings or with their expression of feelings was tough. It felt, at times it felt like it was an impossible task. And there was a little level of awareness that it's not always about me, but it was just difficult to not be seduced by that pattern that I had. In that, I was always, I felt trapped in my box, because that's what it felt like. I was in a box, And well, I dealt with depression as well, so that's how I would describe it. My depression was that I was in a glass box, but there was etchings on the glass box, like all this writing. So it was like the script of, I'm not good enough. I'd never be good enough. I'm not pretty enough. All of this. And it is around the same sort of wording that just in a nutshell, I'm not good enough. In any aspect, I'm just not good enough. So there's etchings on the glass. And so then because there's so many, it's difficult to see through. So, and then it's also difficult to see in. And so I was inside this box desperately wanting someone to see in somehow. But I didn't know how. It was suffocating. Because it's like as the days went on, there's more etchings on the glass. Less I could see out, the less hope that I had that anyone was actually going to come. So then to be able to try and see through that and see my kids, it felt really self-centered, selfish. I was in this difficult dance that I wanted to be for them, but then I needed something for me. I delayed having children for a very long time because of this. Because, I needed to be sorted out before I had kids, because I had an idea of how I wanted to raise my kids, healthy, emotionally, nice, stable children. But I didn't feel healthy, stable, particularly emotionally. Okay. What's changed since being introduced to the inside out paradigm? Well, the etchings of the glass just sort of flicked off one by one. You know what I mean? And it doesn't happen overnight. So, it's like Pantene, it doesn't happen overnight, but it will happen. And well, initially I'd have to say, if I was to feel into it right now, initially it was just, there was a light that sort of happened. There was it's hope. It's the only word to describe it, because I felt that there was no hope, that this was going to be it, and I was going to get smaller and smaller until I just didn't exist anymore, I suppose. So my experience of that was that first there was light coming through, and then each of the etchings sort of flicked off. I'd get an understanding that each of them was somehow not real or not true, that I had somewhere along the line taken on that thinking, but it's not true. So my overall physical experience then changed. I felt happier. I felt and just getting out of bed when I was feeling in the low moods, just getting out of bed was often a hard task, because my body felt like it still needed to sleep, and it was tight and tense and difficult to move. But all of a sudden I'm throwing the covers off the bed, bounding and getting out, So again, my body felt good. Have a shower. I'm just like, wow, I'm moving really good. And then, then you're like, oh, wow, you look outside, you go, oh, wow, the sun is shining, the birds are chirping. Whereas, I don't know, it was all of a sudden like there was a lampshade taken off my head or something. I don't really know how to explain it. Because I didn't see any of this, because I wasn't enjoying any of this before. It's like you open the curtains. I didn't know I had a fern out the back. It's like I just didn't see. I've been living here for 3 years. I didn't know it was there. Like I don't know if that makes any sense. The headaches, well, they were a daily occurrence before, and they just disappeared. I mean, I still get headaches if I haven't, if I've overexerted myself or dehydrated or something like that. But they feel different. And thankfully I wasn't described as a walking headache anymore physically. The difference that people noticed, well, initially there was like, what have you been doing? What have you been doing? Because you just seem brighter and there's more light or more noor. There's more noor in your face, because from a lot of the sisters. What's different? And that felt good. That felt good to be shining that way or showing up that way as opposed to the walking headache. And then they were grateful also because I was wanting to be more involved in things. There was one or two of my closest friends that have, sort of had a sigh of relief. They're like, oh, finally she's sort of seen, it's an emotional thing. Finally she can see what we can see. Wow. Particularly in me. I mean, when you find people like that, hold on to them, because they were there. I couldn't see them. It's so much more effortless now. So much more. And I think that I can see them as well.